Hi guys, welcome back to Hairdryer Treatment. Ladies in Red are back. Friday night fun, you know it goes on here. Positive vibes all the way. I'm going to start off with our special guest today. We're joined by Mya, who's obviously a Spurs fan. Mya, thank you so much for taking the time to come and join us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. And obviously, we'll delve into the chat about the game at the weekend in a second. But firstly, we're joined by the lovely Nicole. Nick, how are you doing?
As well as I can be, and with my girls. And next week we can all go out, so keep looking forward.
Exactly. There's a silver lining. Then, of course, I'm joined again by Meg. Meg, how are you doing this evening? You all right?
I'm good, thank you. I'm okay. I mean, we're back again, so and it's Friday night, so
Sing it, Meg. Sing it, Meg.
I know, I was so close.
I've seen you.
You could see me going for it.
It's Friday, isn't it? Yeah.
My little song.
I keep saying that everywhere. Everyone's singing that song at the minute. But Mya, obviously, we'll start off with Spurs and get your general opinion. Obviously, we just said off camera, Nick had a bit of a laugh saying we're used to Jose at United. We know how it feels. Firstly, where do you stand on Jose Mourinho? Because I know in terms of Ollie, for example, it's very split at United. I think it's pretty much the same, isn't it, as Spurs as well?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the fan base at the minute is very, very split. I'm somewhere in between where I'm not necessarily Jose out, but I don't see him as a long-term manager at the club either. Look, I think he's got quite a poor squad, especially our defence. And I'm not excusing him. I'm not using that as an excuse for him. But, you know, we saw a comment that he made the other day saying different manager, same players, whatever it was. I can't remember what it was. But he was basically implying that, you know, he's still the same coach he always was, but now he's just got different players. And you know what? He didn't lie. No lies were told. He is still Jose Mourinho, and he's a proven winner. We have to accept that. And he is working with a very different squad. He's not working with some of the defenders he's had in the past. He even managed to win trophies at United, and your defence at the time wasn't great. So yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one, to be honest. I think I've just got to stick with him to the end of the season. You know, he was brought in to deliver trophies, and we've got to give him the time to do that. And I think to the end of the season, see if we get the League Cup. I mean, it's very unlikely, isn't it? But I'm just going to stick with him till then and see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're looking at Spurs, you've said it there, defensively. I think at times you've been shambolic, but going forward, Son, Harry Kane, you know the talent that you've got, especially in those two players. I mean, where do you stand with Harry Kane? Because me and Meg have had the debates, and Nicole, I'm pretty sure, and Ladies in Red, we spoke about this as well. A player of his calibre, obviously breaking records, left, right and centre, is going to be Spurs' top goal scorer. To have a career like him and not to come out with that with any trophies, and obviously he could get a trophy this season, that's still up there. But realistically, and I'll start with Meg, I'll start with you on this one. Harry Kane, can you see him staying at Spurs, or do you think he needs to move on?
Listen, if it was me personally, I would move on, because I think if you had to choose between just being a record holder in terms of the all-time top goal scorer for Spurs, potentially getting a few golden boots, but actually having titles and having honours as a club. You've got players that are so decorated, you've got Ryan Giggs, Paul Scholes, and a lot of Man United players, obviously I would suggest, but they are so decorated and honoured in terms of what they have gone on and won. And I think for Harry Kane, if he was to ever finish his career never having won a trophy, he will regret that. And he might be Spurs' top goal scorer, but I genuinely think if he didn't finish with a trophy, he'd look back on his time as a footballer and say, I should have gone somewhere else. I think that's how I would be. I think if you were, do you know what I mean? Look at, when you talk about that England and that generation the golden generation, we never won anything. And we look at it, they should have won something. And I feel like that's what it would be with Kane. He should have won something.
Nick, where do you stand on the whole Harry Kane thing? Because obviously the idea of a long-term player, I like that, a player who's dedicated to his club, is a one-club man. But on a personal level, he's got to be tempted, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, I mean, I can see it from both sides, but I'm pretty much with Meg. I'm not like you two. I don't play football. I only run for the ice cream van, as we all know. However, if I'm putting myself in his playing shoes, then, you know, it's not like in the earlier years of his career now when he's getting to the stage where, I mean, anything can happen. I don't know how he's feeling, and this is no disrespect to Tottenham, but I think looking ahead, it's more like Meg said, it's more about the what ifs. You know, like
Yeah.
footballers' careers are not the longest in the world, and it's more about thinking. Like if I was him, I would rather take a risk than look back and say, "What if?" From a personal standpoint.
And Spurs fans, mate, you'll always love Harry Kane. I feel. I don't, if he was to leave,
And rightly so.
you tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Spurs fans, like United with Ronaldo, we always love Ronaldo. Spurs will always love Harry Kane, even if he was to leave and go on and win.
Maya, what do you
Yes.
think?
I don't think any Spurs fans would have any hatred for Harry Kane if he went, and any who do, then I'm really not sure about them, to be honest, because I think if you look at Harry Kane and what he's done for the club, and he's a club legend, like he's a club legend whilst he's still here, and if he were to move on, I don't think anyone could blame him, because I've seen a lot of talk about Harry Kane being potentially the best player to never win a trophy. And you know what? He will go down as that if he doesn't win a trophy at Tottenham. And I don't know what it is about Tottenham, but we look pretty cursed at the minute. It just does not look like we want to win a trophy. I mean, we might get one in a couple of weeks' time, who knows? But is a League Cup still good enough for Harry Kane? Someone who's labelled the best, one of, if not the best striker in the world. And it's not, a League Cup is not good enough, I don't think, to put against someone like Harry Kane and who he is. That is not good enough, let alone, maybe no trophies at Tottenham. So I wouldn't blame him if he were to go. I think you're right. Like Nicole said, it's about, do you want to look back and think, what if? And personally, I think we've given him a few seasons now, and we've still not delivered that trophy. And I think this was like the last season, maybe we've got one more, only purely down to the finances. Levy drives a hard bargain and he'll want at least 100 mil for him. So that could come into play. But from Harry Kane's point of view, I personally do think, yeah, he'll want to go if we don't win. If we definitely if we don't win the League Cup. And then if we do, then it's still something that he'll probably be thinking about.
Yeah. I think he's got to be tempted, definitely. This is a good question. Where do you think he'll end up? Could it be somewhere like Real Madrid going abroad? Or Man City seems like a very possible option for me when I look at Harry Kane, thinking going there and just imagine Man City with the likes of Harry Kane as well as their striker. Like, it's terrifying to think of that.
So I think a lot
depends
depends on
that.
Yeah, I think a lot depends on literally in this window what Erling Haaland does. Whatever he does, I think it'll be a bit of like a domino effect about what the other clubs around who are looking for a striker do. Listen, yeah. Kane has a very good chance of beating Alan Shearer's record if he stays in the Premier League. So that will be something which will be maybe playing on his mind. But City is personally the only team I do see him going to in the Premier League if he were to go. But then again, I think City really want Erling Haaland. So I don't know.
Maya, is there a team in particular you wouldn't want him to go to? I just on like a personal fan level, because I mean you will probably enjoy this because I cannot stand Arsenal and I never ever want to sell a player to Arsenal unless it's Phil Jones. But like, is there a team?
Don't say that in front of Soph loves him.
Is there a team for you, just on a personal level, that you'd be like, you'd be gutted to see him go to?
I just think any London club, but then again, I don't think he would do it. You know, Arsenal and Chelsea seem to have this thing where they like to sell players between each other, and I just don't want Tottenham to get caught up in all of that. If he were to go outside of London, it would hurt, and stay in the Premier League, it would hurt me. It really would, but it wouldn't kill me. Whereas I think if I saw him go to any other London club, then yeah, that would really hurt. Yeah.
And from Harry Kane's point of view as well, I don't think you wouldn't think, being obviously, like I mentioned, one club man, that kind of guy, that he'd want to go to another London team. He's still going to want to respect Spurs, isn't he? It'd be interesting to see what happens. I would definitely take him at United, though.
Someone put in the chat about him going to PSG to join Poch. I can't find the... Yeah, I've lost it in.
Imagine putting Harry Kane between Neymar and Mbappe.
Scary.
Scary. It's terrifying, isn't it? Absolutely terrifying. Another player, though, obviously, who's had a bit of a topsy-turvy time under Jose is Dele Alli. Where do you think he's leaving, Dele Alli? Because he can't continue what he's doing right now, can he? He's going to want to get back into that England squad, and at the minute he's nowhere near really starting for Jose Mourinho, is he?
Yeah, it's been a difficult one with Dele because I've been rooting for him, and I can't even sit here and say he hasn't been given chances because, you know, a lot of rival fans won't know this because they probably don't watch Tottenham all the time, but he's been given his chances this season. He really has, whether it's been in the FA Cup, Europa League. And for me, he had a little spell where he looked good. I think it was just around the time that Bale had a little bit of a spell and he looked all right. But he hasn't taken his chances to the extent which we know he's capable of. You know, that I think it was the 16-17 season where Dele Alli was just unplayable, and we know he's capable of that, and he's not even shown a fraction of that this year, unfortunately. So I semi can understand Jose's frustration and, you know, why he hasn't been able to get into the team. But I sat here now and, you know, all you girls will know as well what Dele Alli is capable of. He's done it in an England shirt, he's done it in a Tottenham shirt before, and he's young. So again, he's another player that I could potentially see going if it's just not going to work out under Jose. But at the same time, maybe we have to hold out hope, because Jose did this to Tanguy and Dembele, and now, in my opinion, he's one of the most talented, you know, midfielders in the league. So Jose has a weird way, and you girls will know, he has a weird way of doing things and, you know, isolating players and then maybe bringing them back. And he likes to shake things up and he likes to make things about him, but sometimes it does work out, and maybe that could be a Dele situation, but it's looking unlikely.
Yeah, I'm laughing at Doug's comment there. Smash them bikes up. Smash them bikes up, Doug. Obviously, guys, if you're friends of the like, hit the like on the video if you're enjoying the content. But Spurs at the weekend, obviously, we're going to want to get revenge, girls. Nicole, Meg, 6-1 last time around. That frustrating game. Lamela getting Martial sent off. That still leaves a bit of taste in the mouth now when you're talking about it. We haven't been playing that well lately. I mean, the game yesterday against Granola, as we were calling it, Meg, when we were live. Granada, though, that game yesterday. Yeah, I mean, the ref, obviously, we've all commented about the ref, but we simply weren't up to scratch. We weren't our best. We got the job done. We got the win, which I'm grateful for. But I'm just hoping that it isn't a case of this burnout now on certain players. We saw Rashford, for example, playing with a knock. Bruno looks tired. Nick, how would you say you're feeling going into this game on Sunday against Tottenham?
Honestly, I don't know what to expect, because, like, from the last time we played him this season, we can go from one extreme to a completely different extreme. Yesterday was underwhelming. And of course, everyone is entitled to be disappointed. I was disappointed. I was bored. The most interesting thing that happened was the streaker, and I was just disappointed that it wasn't Cavani. I'm sorry, but someone tweeted me to say Nicole Cavani, and I was like, that's not Cavani. That's so rude. But other than that, no, there wasn't really any standout moments. We got the goals. Bruno got a penalty, Penendes. But no, the performance isn't up to scratch. But in these competitions, like we were saying last time, it's not always about the performance. It's just about getting there. And if we get there, we're not going to look behind if we get a trophy and say, oh, well, we should have performed better that day. However, it is like fuel now to go into the next game and say, right, now we're going to match the performance and we're going to get the result. Like, there's no excuses. We're coming to the end of the season. Well, there is the concerns. I honestly think sometimes we'd play Rashford, touch wood, if he had a broken bone. Like, sometimes I'm really concerned, but then he scores and I'm like, oh, never mind. But as a whole, I am concerned with how we'll perform, but I'm not going to completely just say, oh, we've got no hope, because you never know with us. You never, ever know until how we turn up on the day, how Ollie lines us up, and how we go into the game. Yeah,
definitely. Meg, we witnessed that yesterday in the watch-along. We started talking about microwaves and all sorts during that watch-along, anything to talk about the match, because it was so frustrating, so boring. Yeah, you expected a different performance from us against Spurs?
I think we will. I think it very much for Manchester United, and that we have seen it because we really lost to Sheffield United, but yet we compete with the big teams. And I think for Manchester United, it depends on who we play. We very much match their standard at times. I feel like if we're playing like a team that sit back, we match that kind of slow tempo. We've seen it last night where Granada just wanted to sit back, and then we were like, well, we'll just pass it around. But then when teams want to come at us, we want to go at them. And I think we do bring it to the Premier League when we are playing one of the big six. Or, you know, there's how many teams in that big six now, because they're all dropping out mid-table. You've got West Ham up there that they're going to join it. Leicester are up there. Who knows which of the big six are anymore? But when you are playing a game like this, where it's the pressure's on, I do think we come through. But at the same time, I do expect changes. I do think Cavani will start this game. but I know Nick's raising her eyebrows already at that. And you've looked at like a Rashford that's still carrying out Luke Shaw that was subbed at half-time. So I don't think we'll see the same team, but I do think we'll bring it a little bit more.
Yeah, we need to. We need to definitely be better than we were last night. But Maya, is there any player? It seems like a bit of an obvious question when you look at who's been our standout player so far this season. But is there any particular player that you'd say you're scared of as a Spurs fan, like who you're dreading playing against on Sunday?
Well, for me, it can only be one. No, there's a few. Obviously, I'm gonna have to say Bruno, because the guys, you know what? I was at work today, and we were having a conversation about who is more vital to their team, Bruno at Man United or Harry Kane at Tottenham. And it's an interesting question because, Bruno has really come through for you guys in really, really important times. So yeah, of course, naturally, he is going to be the man that I'm, most scared of. But you've got people like Luke Shaw, who's having an outstanding season, and our right back role is a little bit, we're all over the shop. We don't know who to play there. We don't know who's best at going forward in that role, who's best at one-on-one defending in that role. We're just all over the shop with our right back position. And I think him having any joy down that left-hand side and getting the ball in for, if you start Cavani or whoever, is going to be quite dangerous. So I'm going to have to give Luke Shaw a mention too, just assuming that he'll start. So yeah, those two players in particular for me.
Yeah, Luke Shaw, you touched on there. He's been superb, hasn't he, this season? When he hasn't played, I think we've really missed him. Nicole, he's transformed, hasn't he? You look at that left-hand side, me and Meg said it yesterday, our most dominant threat is always down that left-hand side with Shaw and Rashford just in front of him. That's our go-to, isn't it?
Yeah, completely. And from the football point of view, but also I still remember how sick I felt when he got that injury, because it was almost getting to this point and we was just about to see something, and I was just absolutely devastated for him, and I still can't look at the pictures of it. So to see him now to come back from that, I think he's not only obviously brilliant asset to the team, brilliant with Rashford, but I think at the same time he's an inspiration to other players around him as well, like not to give up, keep fighting for them roles. And yeah, I would say he's our most improved player this season. And I would say, obviously, you've got Bruno's Bruno, but I would say he's up there as one of the players of the season without question, and deservedly.
Yeah. Meg, looking at the Spurs team, obviously, I mentioned Son and Kane being their main two standouts. Last game, we were just carved open. We were so open in that game. I'm just hoping it's totally different. But who would you say you fear the most in that Spurs team?
That pairing that you have just mentioned, like you said, how they carved United apart last time, it's so dangerous. And you know what? Like from a football fan, remove the whole Manchester United fan, just as a football fan, seeing like a pairing work so well together. Of course, like I wish they were at Manchester United or they were English, like Son was English, so that you can really celebrate the fact that we've got these two players in the Premier League that really bounce off each other. I feel like perhaps for Spurs, this is their like Cole and York kind of deal, where they have this season they have come together. Not only is it Kane scoring the goals, but Son assisting. Kane's assisting Son. They just seem to bounce so well together. So them pair, and I feel like we've always said at Manchester United that our defence, we're not always 100% confident in it. How do you deal with them pair? We've got to work it out somehow.
Formidable.
I think you're in luck. I think you're in luck a lot because Son has not been in form recently. And, for that first period of the season, those two were electric and that partnership was ridiculous. The bookies odds on the return the favour bet that they had was ridiculous because they were
the time
scoring every week. But since Son had an injury, and then we had the international break, and then last week Newcastle, he's just not been the same player, and that partnership has not been the same. So I know you say that, and it was electrifying towards the start and going into the middle of the season, but recently it's not been that great.
You watch the turn up against us, though. I can guarantee you that.
It's United. It's a final for everyone.
So what happens? But to be fair, we spoke about Jose and we asked your thoughts on him. I'm be interested to see this because United fans are so divided. When we're winning games, everyone's Ollie, and when we're losing, the majority are Ollie out. It's so frustrating to watch. Really frustrating. And I'm going to come to you, Nick, and Meg in a minute, and get your thoughts on the whole Ollie debate still, because it changes week by week for some people, so it might change for you guys. So I'm going to touch on that. But I'm going to say, as an opposition fan, what's your thoughts on Ollie this season? We're second in the league. Obviously, we just beat Granada in Europa League. We're still on for that trophy as well. Do you think he deserves a lot of the stick that he's getting?
I can see why. Just because of who you are. You're Manchester United. You are the biggest football club in the world. And here you are competing for your Europa League. I get it. However, you do then have to take everything into context. City have been unreal this season, and the Premier League was never really anyone's but City's. The way that they have played is a joke. And I know it's horrible to say in front of you girls, but just from a footballing fan.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
Yeah.
It's incredible to watch. The Champions League, it obviously wasn't great, but you've got yourselves into the Europa League, and you potentially, I think you've odds-on favourite to go and win it now. So I can get why Manchester United fans are annoyed, because the history and the stature of your club, you should be, in the running for more competitions and more trophies. But I think that people are getting all a bit too maybe carried away. You could still win the Europa League. You could still finish second and be the best of the rest in the Premier League. Among tough competition, Leicester have really stepped up this season. Chelsea have looked good in spells. West Ham have been good. So to be the best of the rest is, still something to celebrate. So I can get why people are annoyed. You probably should still be aiming for higher. But if he were to get the Europa and finish second in the Prem, I don't think it's the worst. And like you said, you've had some defensive issues and stuff through the season. So yeah. That's what I think anyway, from an opposition point of view.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of United fans think, isn't it? On one hand, you understand, I've said it many times, I understand the criticism, substitutions far too late, play certain players, and I'm scratching my head thinking, what's going on here, Ollie, what we're doing. But when you look at the objectives, I'm pretty sure Nick, start of the season, he'd have been told to get Champions League football and get a trophy. And he's still on course to getting that, isn't he?
Yeah, I am... Right. I think a lot of people have this perception that I'm Ollie and I'm an Ollie merchant. When I say that, I'm being sarcastic, right? Obviously, I love him for what he is and who he is. However, I support United. I don't support a player. I don't support a manager. I just support United as a whole. So what I've always said and what I've always stuck to is criticism when it's necessary and praise when it's necessary. But I feel like either way, it can be blown out of control. I feel like you've got the one side that's like, oh my God, we've won a game, everything's amazing. And then you've got the other side, oh my God, we've lost a game, sack him. And for me personally, I'm somewhere in between. We're well on the way to where we need to be. I've always said he's not he's not going to come in waving a magic wand. He's here to do the dirty work. And I respect him for doing the dirty work. Having said that, sometimes I sit there and I'm like, mate, what are you doing? You know what I mean? I'm not a manager, but sometimes I can't help thinking, why did you leave it that late? Or why did we seemingly sit back and why did we not go all out to attack because we are United? And it sometimes does have this kind of one way fits all instead of I think he needs to be a bit more versatile depending on who he's up against. And I think for this season, don't get me wrong, I was gutted, as you girls know. I was absolutely gutted when we got knocked out the FA Cup because I really wanted it. I'm old school. I still love it. Having said that, we shouldn't be in Europa, correct? However, we're not the United that we used to be. And I think that Manchester United has gone. Not to say we shouldn't still be aiming for it, but I think people need to be realistic that this isn't Sir Alex Ferguson's United. So yes, we should be aiming for better. Yes, the standard should be higher, but at the same time, we have been spoiled. So I think for this season, if we can finish second, as previously said, City, no one was catching up to him. We was first for a little bit, and I milked that for everything it was worth. But I knew it was never going to last. So if we get second behind them, brilliant. And if we get a trophy, brilliant. I just want to see Solskjaer get a trophy so much, and for us to get a trophy. But then, once we do that next season, I think I will I will be a little bit more, strict in my thought process of we should be going for the title.
Yeah. And
we should be going for every single competition we're in. And if we're in the Champions League, we should behave like we're in the Champions League and not a bunch of farmers. So I love Ale. I love what he's doing, and I see where it's going. But I think this is the last season where I can say, right, finishing second or finishing the top four and getting a trophy is good enough. And then I think next season he has to even as someone who loves what he's doing, he has to push it up a notch. He has to.
Yeah, I agree with you. I said this season, obviously, for me, he deserves to. If you've seen him slowly shipping certain players out, for me, he hasn't still got his tailored team. We know that he wanted the likes of Sancho last time. It didn't happen. We ended up with the likes of Cavani, and whether you love him or what, like, he definitely wasn't the main target for me. That wasn't the idea, was it? He didn't get the signings. He got Donny in, and I think it's clear and obvious that wasn't his signing. He's in a Solskjaer signing. We all love Donny, but he just doesn't seem to fit in with Solskjaer's plans. And I think Ollie deserves that time. I think if he gets his objective, which is top four, which is a trophy, then for me, he deserves to get another transfer window, and he deserves to be backed in that transfer window as well. And then if he doesn't, then we all know where the problem is, and we've said it for a long time, haven't we? But Nippon's asked if you're doing a watch-along for the game. Meg, I don't know if you're about for a watch-along, so obviously we'll have to see if we can arrange that. So we'll let you know in due course whether we're free for a watch-along. It's 4:30 kick-off, I believe, on Sunday. But Meg, in terms of Ollie, what's your stance on it? Would you agree with us that he does deserve criticism in some senses, but there is a bit of an overreaction with him?
Definitely, and I think that just comes with the Manchester United territory, the name, because we have been there and we've done it, and we still believe we should be there, and potentially we should be. I do think he needs to win a trophy, but I also think these players need to win him the trophy, because I also, whilst I feel like there is some correct criticism towards Ollie, the players as well need to take on board the responsibility of actually turning up to some games, because we've seen them before, and there's some of them have put some shockers in terms of performances. And I think when you get to that semi-final, you can do all the preparation and all the work you can leading up to it, but then the mentality of a player is something that lives in with them. You can't teach mentality. That comes naturally to players. So look, we're winning 2-0 in terms of a quarter-final. I expect us to go on into a semi-final this season. That's the game where, for me, that pressure really is on, that because of last season, and I think Ollie needs to step up and say, break that curse. And in terms of the Premier League, I know that you girls have said, and even next season, do I think our objective will be to win the league? Potentially, but do I think the more of the objective will be actually have a title charge and not drop off? Like, we were there, we were up there, and we've dropped off. It's like, how long can we compete in like that title race for? Because I think this season you got I think obviously Liverpool have flopped. That's all I can say about them. Chelsea, I think, should have done better. Spurs, to an account, could have done better. You've got likes of West Ham that have cropped up. Leicester holding their own. There is way more competition in the Premier League now, and I think for Manchester United, we have got to compete for longer. I don't think we will ever run away with it next season. So I think, for me, rather than just whether we win it or not, we've got to compete more. That's just me being realistic.
Can I just add one thing? All this talk about the manager and stuff, he should be held accountable, but I think it's only fair to say at times he can't physically go on. Well, we have seen performances from players that aren't up to scratch. And I'm not saying all the time, I'm not going to single players that, but I'm saying it's only fair that we say it's not always on him. Sometimes he can't physically go on and shake him and score it himself. He probably still could. He probably still got it in him. But what I'm saying is, it's got. Let's be honest. It's got to still be fair. Let's say it as he is. He has been at fault. The players have been at fault. Sometimes I want to smash my head off the wall. Sometimes I'm like, woohoo, United are back. That's how it is.
That is how it is. Sometimes you want to your head off the wall. Sometimes you shout at the top of the league. Like,
how many times have I said I want to smash my head off the wall?
I know.
No, don't worry.
Guys, in the chat, get your random questions in. Like we say, Feel Good Friday. We don't always just sit and talk about football. We like to have a bit of a laugh as well. So get your random questions in. But England in the Euros, I'm going to switch it on a little bit from the game at the weekend. How confident? I mean, we mentioned some of the young players that we've got. Foden, obviously, he's a young and upcoming player who's been superb. Sterling, Harry Kane. You look at our squad on paper, and we should be up there, shouldn't we? England should be up there. Southgate in charge. I don't know how you guys feel about him as manager. But Myra, I'll start with you on this one. Like, going into the Euros, do you think England stand a good chance?
I don't think we've ever been in a better position squad-wise. We just talked about Harry Kane potentially being the best striker in the world. Phil Foden, in my opinion, probably the best young midfielder in the world, attacking midfielder, whatever you want to call him. I think, we've got some solid choice keepers in there. I think we're in a really, really, really good position to potentially. I'm not going to jinx it. I'm not going to
say it, Maya. Say it.
You know what? I don't think we've. I don't know. Like, this squad is unbelievable. We're having to pick between Grealish and Mount and Foden and Maddison all in one position, and then some people are saying, do we take Jude Bellingham or not, even though he's been bossing it in the Bundesliga? Like, we're in such a spoiled position. So I think squad wise, talent wise, absolutely fine. This is where it now comes down to mentality. It comes down to management, and I think a lot of those things will come into play. I'm not Gareth Southgate's biggest fan, but he did get us to a World Cup semi-final, which was great. And now he's got a better squad, in my opinion. It's not a World Cup, it's a Euros. The group, I believe, is, Scotland, Czech Republic.
If I remember now. Doug, in the chat, Doug put the group in for us. Come on, Doug, help us out.
Finish the group off, Doug.
The group is definitely... You are right. I think Scotland, Czech Republic are the main teams in there, aren't they? We should be okay. I think
we're okay. So yeah, I think that we've got the squad, and I think personally it will come down to mentality, management. But in my opinion, Croatia. Yeah, I'm expecting at least a semi-final, at least bare minimum from that squad.
Bold statement, semi-final. Meg, where can you see us getting to?
I literally echo what Maya just said, because I just right now this squad, we're saying you've got to play Rice, you've got to play Bellingham, you've got to play Foden, you've got to play Kane. There's Rashford to play in, there's Sancho, there's Grealish. There's so many attacking options to fit in, and we're saying how can you leave this player out, because he's playing so well right now. And I feel like at the moment a lot of English players are turning it on. They're like, right, the Euros are coming in, and whether it is because the Euros are coming or just whether it just naturally happened that they are finding their feet and they're finding form. And there are so many players, you can't accommodate them all. You can't. There's going to be someone that's going to be sat on the bench, and we're all going to, somebody will say, how is he not playing? Because we all look at players and we find different attributes of them better than someone else would. That's just football fans. We're here for opinions, aren't we? But isn't it nice to be able to say, well, even if he's on the bench, we've got a player like that to bring on. Like I said, Maya said, I would love to see us go all the way. A semi-final for me with this group of players is a bare minimum requirement, and I just hope that we can manage the style of play, and in terms of the whole game management, we can work our way through those rounds, whether it's through the group stages and then through the knockouts and then on to the bigger games at the very end. But yeah, it's not down to players and talent this time. It's about management and gameplay and game management from the players.
Yeah. Nick, I'm going to come to you.
I'm excited for the Euros this year.
I'm excited, to be fair. I'm just going to quickly touch on as well. You mentioned Jude Bellingham and whether he should go or not. Jude Bellingham, that goal against City the other day, that's the most frustrating. I was like, I'm turning it off. I can't even deal with this anymore. VAR is an absolute joke. How can we be given a goal after full time against Brighton and yet they can't go back and look at that? I'm so confused, Nick. So you could talk about VAR, but also where do you think England are going to finish?
Right, no comment on that because I won't shut up. Right, but I'll echo what Maya's saying. I think on paper, fantastic, but in practice is a completely different thing. We've seen it time and time again. I think, and like Meg said, it's in terms of the management, in terms of the execution. Here she is. Yes, Nat.
Yes, thanks.
You're right, Nat.
Yeah. Still speaking.
I'm doing it. Right.
Yeah, carry on, yeah.
And can I just say, right, because we all need reminding of good times right now. Maya mentioned the World Cup. We did not know how good we had life back then. We did not know what was coming. Do you know what I mean? We was all football's coming home. It was the best time of our lives. We was gonna win it. We didn't, but we was gonna. It was a hot barbecues, and we was all touching and hugging each other. Can you believe it? So looking ahead, I'll just be buzzing to be able to do all that again, to be honest. But yeah, I think we should be get into a semi-final, but I don't really like saying the word semi-final anymore. But let's just wait and see. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, hopefully we're not cursed at England level with semi-finals. Hopefully we can get over it. United as well.
We've got into a penalty situation, so
True.
one step in.
Yeah. Now we talk about England in the Euros and like how confident, like how far do you think we can actually go?
I've seen people say I'm crashing. No, I'm just coming in.
He's invited. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm invited.
He's one of us.
Yeah, red. Listen, I think we can go as far as we want. I think if he plays the players, plays them young players. That's what I want to see. I want to see, exciting. I want to see Reece James. I want to see Mason Mount. I want to see them young, exciting players that are actually doing quite well. What's he called? Rice. I think he should play. I think play the young ones, and I think you could do anything. And Rashford, that goal last night, build it around him, man.
Good goal. I mean, poor performance, but
protect him at all costs.
Yeah, exactly. Rafa Cotton will definitely do that. But in terms of England, like we know the talent that we've got, we know what we're capable of. Obviously, whether you like Southgate or you don't like Southgate, you can't deny that talent he's got in his squad. And I agree with you. I hope he takes some risks with his selection. I hope he doesn't play it safe. I hope he involves players like Bellingham, James, you've just mentioned there as well, Foden, players like that, like the young, exciting players that we know that we've got. Because I think we keep seeing the same old faces at England level. I think we need to refresh it a little bit now. And I think that's what Southgate did when he come out with a waistcoat and everyone was wearing the waistcoats. Like Nick was saying, the positive vibes. It's because he was playing this like fresh breed of player, wasn't it? And hopefully he can continue to do that.
We lived on a different planet back then. What has happened since?
So Soph and I were in Bristol celebrating England against.
I remember seeing the pictures.
Sweden, yeah.
Remember when we used to score and everyone would just throw beer in the air?
The beer. I had like a tanker of cider and I remember it went.
I remember having one and going, I'm not going to throw it because I really want to drink it. I'm not going to throw it. And we scored. And I looked back and I was like, oh, Sky.
I should have thrown it.
No, it was magic. I was celebrating. I was like, yes, I'll have a drink. And then I realised it gone. I was celebrating way too much.
Yeah, it was mad. And I remember people slide tackling through all the mixture of alcohol on the floor and stuff like that. It went like viral. It was mad. But yeah, like Nick said,
I've lived two different lives. I feel like I've lived two different lives. But I tell you what, that first way, when you're in a pub and someone scores, that first way is going to go off. It's going to be the best way you've ever experienced. Telling you.
Can't wait to sing Vindaloo and just have a drink and just have a good time. Shane, thank you so much for the super chat. It says, United ladies, did you hear Fabrizio tweeted during the week Dortmund are selling Sancho and United? Sancho agreed terms. Dortmund are willing to drop into 80 pounds, he said there. I'm guessing it was 80 million.
I wish.
Thank you for that, Shane. I mean, Maya, where do you stand on Jadon Sancho? You saw, obviously, we were chasing, we constantly linked with him last season. It was literally, we refused to say his name after a bit on here because it was just like the bane of our life, so frustrating. But do you think he'll improve us if we do sign Sancho?
You know what? It'd be stupid for me to say that Sancho wouldn't improve anybody because, he's a special talent. He really is. My family are United fans. My dad and my brother are really big United fans, and my dad
your dad and your brother.
They're quite strong opinions.
Don't follow the crowd.
Exactly. My dad had quite strong opinions at the time when he didn't get Sancho, and he wasn't too bothered about it because he wasn't sure where he'd fit. So he says Jadon Sancho is a player that has to start week in, week out. He's too good to be at a team where he doesn't start. And at the time, you had Greenwood, who was, this young talent that who should be starting maybe. You've got Rashford, who should be starting. Martial wanted to start. So he basically, my dad's opinion anyway, was that he needs to go somewhere and not be a squad player, be a Harry Kane. He's going to be the first name on the team sheet. And my dad wasn't sure at the time whether he would be that because, you're trying to build Mason Greenwood. You've got Rashford, who is your star man. And it just seems like whatever happens, Martial plays. I mean, he doesn't score and he still plays. I don't know. But I'd love to see him in the Prem, and if apparently terms have been agreed for £80, I'd even chip in because I want to see him in the Prem.
But between us five, what's that? I haven't been doing that for a long time.
And I do keep up with the Bundesliga, but for me to see him on my screen every week, I'd love to see it. It would be nice if it's to a rival club like United, but you've just got to appreciate as a football fan having someone like that playing in the league that you watch. And I think, like in answer to your initial question, he'd improve any team, but it's the team that are going to get the most benefit out of him as well as him benefiting a team.
Yeah, definitely. And he's going to want to play consistently for England, isn't he? He's going to want to keep his spot in that squad. But Manchester United, I think, would be a really positive move for him getting back into the Premier League, as you say, for the league as well. I think he'd be a really good addition.
I'm not going down that rabbit hole, me.
I'm not getting sucked into it until I see him
holding
holding that
Alice in Wonderland stuff. Nope.
Yeah, I'm not getting sucked in. Definitely not. But Nat, I'll touch on it because obviously you've come in a bit later. But we've got Spurs at the weekend. First time around 6-1. That embarrassing game that we don't want to talk too much about. But how are you feeling going into this one? Obviously, we got an important win yesterday. Wasn't the most convincing of performances, but it's the business end of the season. We've got the job done. Are you expecting us to come out and be different against Spurs?
Yeah, I'm confident going into this. Maybe I don't want to be too confident and come back to bite me, but I'm.
No, I love you for it. Do it.
Yeah, we're a different side from
not being confident, like
scares me. That makes me going into lockdown. Nat, give me the energy.
No, but Spurs are different now, innit, as well. And they're sort of on the slide and we're sort of on the up. And, I don't want to sort of say, this and that, but, Spurs are being Spursy and we're sorry, but we're striving, we're doing well. And I think that we're going to win. And why wouldn't I? Because, we went to City and won. Why can't we go to Spurs and win? For me, it's not going to be easy, but I'm confident. Maybe 3-2, something like that. I don't know. Man United.
Love that. Love the confidence. I am going to ask for your score predictions in a sec as well.
Guys,
get your questions in. Get your questions in, your random questions. Here's one. What drink and meal would you go for after Monday with lockdown being eased? So I'm going to say on Monday, are any of you going out? Are you going out for a meal? Are you going out for a drink to celebrate the fact that it's being eased? Nat's nodding. Nat, where are you going?
Don't ask me.
I'm in Northern Quarter, Deansgate. Just, hit me up, guys. Just let me know. I'm about. I'm everywhere.
Text me.
Yeah, text me.
Love that.
Slide in the DMs.
What drink and what meal are you going for, Nick?
Right, can I just say, I discovered something that wasn't gin, right, the other day. So it's like a bottle of strawberry sours. Now, if you mix it, this is a revelation. If you mix strawberry sours with lemonade, it tastes like Starburst. I just need to share this with the world. It tastes like Starburst. Anyway, so I'd have that, or vodka. And as for a meal, probably just a pub look, just the simple. I personally think you can go wherever you want, but I think pubs need us right now. I think we need, the good old British pub. We need to get in and support them and never take them for granted again. So a good old pub lunch, and probably knowing me, a double vodka or a gin or both.
Why not? Celebrating it, maybe. Celebrating freedom.
But it's about who you're with, though. It's about who you're with. For me, don't get me wrong, I've missed going to the places, but more than anything, I've missed going to the places with the people. So the people I'm going to see next week is what I'm most happy about. And that's all I have to say.
I'm laughing at this, Soph, because I thought James said a quiet few pints. I was like, quiet one.
Oh, what's one of them? Never heard of him.
Yeah. Maya, you got any plans when lockdown restrictions are lifted?
I don't, I'm working a lot at the minute. So I'm just gonna get through the first week or two because places are going to be heaving. I know they are. And I'd rather enjoy myself and not be, restricted to just not being able to walk to the next table and being chucked out after 2 hours. So I'm just going to leave it for a little bit, I think. And then I've got a place booked on the next bank holiday in May. So I'm looking forward to that.
Is anyone going to brave Primark? Is anyone braving Primark next week? Because if you have, you're mental. I've missed me £1 thongs, but not that much, hun.
I will miss Primark at some point, but probably not.
I need these done, though. Don't change your mind and need my nails starting and not doing them myself.
Meg, any plans for you?
I'm with, like same with Maya, I've not actually got anything organised in terms of next week or anything like that. But once it's kind of like settled down, I don't really want to be sat in the rain outside. Do you know what I mean? In May, my birthday's in May, and I think the day before my birthday, you can go inside a pub. I think that like the rules change like the day before my birthday, so I'm hoping then that
you lucky devil.
biding my time until May because I know that the places are just going mad.
And as for June, blinking out, it's gonna go off in June. The merge, hon.
I can't wait to meet up. Ladies, meeting up.
I'm going to be doing the best mum moves you have ever seen in your life.
Can't wait. You know what everyone's going to be doing now? We're actually going out. Everyone's going to be like,
I forgot how to dance.
That's what everyone's just going to be doing, man. And the Weller man and all stuff like that, man. Everyone's doing a TikTok. That's what's going on.
Yes, yeah.
Amina says, "Hi, babes. Do you think Ollie has reached the ceiling and cannot take us any further?" I think he deserves time. I think it's still early to say that. I really do. I think he still deserves a bit of time. He's still got his objectives. I think he's still got to improve. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a finished article. He's still got to improve. But I think to say he's hit the ceiling, I think it's too early to say that. And thank you so much for the contribution. I really do appreciate that. We've got a music-related question. Nick, firstly, before we get onto it, shout out our playlist. Shout out the playlist that we've created.
Oh, forgot. It's called wait, you move. I'm gonna share it. I'll tell you what, exclusive, because my brain's gone to mush. After this video is finished, go onto Ladies in Red Twitter page, and I'm going to share our playlist. Expect Sophie's Grime, expect our Emma's Brittany, and someone's put Elvis on there. I don't know who did that. Someone's shoved Elvis on there. Sorry, guys. Exclusive right after this video.
You know what? I'm not knocking a bit of Elvis. I don't know what you've been so damn bit about. It's Elvis, man.
Well, I've got a question. If you could have dinner with any person, dead or alive, you already know the answer to mine. Who would you meet and why?
Oh, that's a good question. Go on, Meg. I'll let you go first because I don't know.
Mine's Elvis, by the way.
I'm literally trying to quick think of somebody. I've got no idea. Do you know what? If it be, did it have to be a celebrity? Because I would bring my grandma back.
It can be anyone, absolutely anyone.
I'll bring my grandma back.
That's a good
answer. It made me feel bad.
Yeah,
I'm going. I didn't talk about Priscilla.
I mean, there we go. That's one way to avoid a complete celebrity question. I've got no idea. But I don't know. There's too many for me that I want different people there for different reasons.
That's a good question. Nat, have you got an answer to that question?
I thought Anthony Joshua, just because, yeah. But I think I'm going to go Cristiano Ronaldo.
You're not asking any questions, are you?
Yeah, just look at him. No, but I think I'm going to
all of it.
Ronaldo, because he's like my favorite, like from young, like in year 7. I love Ronaldo.
Generation, he was our generation player, wasn't he?
So it's Ronaldo for me, just to say, oh my God, I loved it when you scored that goal in Rome, and that header, how did you stay in the air so long, and just all these kind of.
She would.
Yeah. I would. Then I'd be like, you're beautiful too, but I just, yeah.
Listen,
I think for me, I'd probably say Fergie. I'd just love to chat about all the memories, and yeah, Fergie just makes me smile whenever I see him come on the screen. Bless him with his little flat cap on and his mask, and he just melts my heart. And I think I'd just be in awe of him.
And when he's at the Etihad and he hides the City badge, good man.
Yes. I'm just in awe of him. I think I'd just talk forever. I don't think I'd talk that much. I think I could just listen to the stories. I think you just have that many tales to tell. Just captivated. Maya, what about you? If you could have a dinner with someone dead or alive, who would you choose?
There's a few people that spring to mind, but one person that I don't know if they're top, but just the person who springs to mind the most anyway, first of all, is probably David Attenborough. I'd really like to sit down with David Attenborough.
Legend.
And chat to him big time.
Yeah,
imagine him narrating your day. Well. Imagine him like coming round and narrating your day. I'd be going to the DVD. That'd be amazing.
You know what I really want to see? I want to see David Attenborough like crossed with Ollie Ball. Have you seen the Ollie Ball video?
Oh my God, I mean? That'd be fantastic.
That'd be too funny. Like describing something. It's Ollie Ball here. Like he just kills me every time. It's so funny. I want to see that happen. Just like a duet on TikTok or something like that. Just them two. I think it's good. The Doug Out. Thank you so much, Doug. Make sure you go and subscribe to Doug's channel as well, guys. He said pubs and shops don't open here until the 26th of April. Random question. This is a random question. You've been given an elephant. You can't get rid of it. So what do you do with it?
Ride it.
That's it. That's the one.
To work. Just pull it up to work. So.
Take me to B&M.
I would keep it, definitely. But I don't know where I would keep it. That's a good question. Because it seems cruel, doesn't it?
Luna would think so.
Luna probably wouldn't even notice it, to be fair. She probably wouldn't even notice that there's an elephant there, to be honest with you. I don't know. Doug, that's a difficult question. I mean, Nat, what do you think of that one? I like elephants. Yeah.
Ride it
Yeah, but
around.
where are you going to keep it when you're not riding it?
In the garden.
In the garden, obviously.
Sorry for the stupid question.
Take it to the pool, innit? Like any outdoor pools, and it'll look like it would spray the water around, and you'd be like, woo!
You can just imagine like this would be Nat's kind of pet. Like, look how fuzzy she is, just talking about it. Nat, it's not going to happen, but look how happy she is.
You can imagine just walking in with a lead, just randomly, area.
Around the estate. You drop the elephant, Nella.
Yeah, Nella's the elephant, yeah.
Oh God, you've even named it now. Keith, thank you so much for the super chats. Good evening, beautiful ladies. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much. Right, before the round the show off and before we get any more random questions, can you just give me your score predictions for Sunday? Get his questions in, obviously, before we round off. But Nat, I'll start with you on this one because you was hella confident just talking. So what's your score prediction against Spurs then?
Yeah, I think, 3-2. Why not? Let's go for it. I think Bruno, Rashford, don't know who else, Mason. And I think, Kane, I don't know if Kane's injured or not, but I think, Spurs will score, but I just can only see United win. Like I said, it might come back and bite me, but that's what I can only see. So let's go get it. Let's go get them 3 points. Revenge.
It is about the 3 points more than the performance, isn't it? It is at this part of the season, especially against a team like Spurs. But we've got some revenge there. I mean, Nick, going into that game, how are you feeling?
Let's reverse it 6-1. No, I'm joking. I'm really not confident. I'm going to say... I wish. I'm going to... See, I don't think that's a bad shout 3-2, but I'm going to just push it a little bit. I don't know whether it's a gin. And I'm going to say if we turn up on the day and I think that we get the performance that we should do, or not necessarily the performance, the result, I'm going to say 3-1. I do think we'll concede. We'll probably concede first like we always do. And then we'll go on to probably get a penalty and then score 2. This might bite me on the bum, but right now, 3-1. Why not?
Why not? Positive. I like it. Maya, I'm going to come to you, so I don't leave you till last as the only Spurs fan, because that would have been nice, would it? But hand on heart, what's your prediction?
Hand on heart, I think it's going to be 2-1 United. Listen, I never really come out. I never really come out and give a score prediction as a loss for Tottenham because I hate to be that pessimistic fan. I at least give a draw or a win, but there is something about this game and I've got a really bad gut feeling. And I'm not going to come out with a ridiculous scoreline saying that we'll concede loads. So I think 2-1's fair because I do think when you've got someone like Harry Kane on the pitch, he's probably going to score, but I also don't trust our defence. So yeah, I'm going to go 2-1. Nick
said 3-1 to United. Gaz said 2-1 United, 4-1, 6-0 from Paul.
That tricky. Always tricky, Red, that.
Yeah, you know what I'd like to see? I can't see it, but I'd like to see it. We've got a 3-1 there, a draw, a 2-1. 2-1 seems to be the most consistent. We've got a 2-0 there. People think we get another clean sheet. Again, that would be nice against the likes of Harry Kane, to be fair. Go on then, Meg, what's your prediction?
I, for once, I'm not going to go for a clean sheet because I feel like Kane on the pitch is always a threat. And I'm normally one for a clean sheet. So if it's not 1-1, because I can see it being a draw, unfortunately, I think I'd like, obviously, Manchester United to win, so I'd go for a 2-1, but I wouldn't be surprised if we ended at 1-1 at the very end.
Yeah, I think I'm going to say 2-1. I think we'll concede, but I think it'll be a tight game. I just hope that we've got enough going forwards. Probably like a lucky penalty or something like that. I would take it, but I'm just hoping that we just scrape past Spurs. I don't think we'll battle them like some people predicted. Of course, I'd like to be wrong and hope that happens, but I just feel like we looked edgy yesterday defensively, especially in that first half. And I feel like Spurs with likes of Kane and Son, they're going to cause us trouble. I just hope that going the other way, we can cause them more trouble. But I do see it being a tight game. I really do.
Me before kickoff and after kickoff are 2 different people. 2 completely different people.
100%. And the closer he gets to kickoff as well, that confidence slowly starts growing out. Do you know what I mean?
Ill.
Doug says, what would you do if you could possess the abilities of your dog?
I know.
Sleep all day.
Sleep all day.
Yeah, sleep all day.
Get me tea made for me. Get taken for a walk. Don't pay any bills. Done.
Sorted. Thank you so much, Doug, for the contributions. I really appreciate that. And this one is, we've got to end it on this. So Nicole's tweet the other day about islands and roundabouts. we both had completely different answers. And what was the other one? An Ali or a what?
Ginnell.
A ginnel. It's a ginnel.
What's a ginnel?
I don't know what that is.
That's what a ginnel is. When we were kids, we used to play like football in the ginnel.
Did you actually call it football, or did you just call it something else weird?
No,
it's actually called football. So going around your island.
No, I was saying this in the island is like, you know, like the little painted on islands on the floor. But the picture that you posted, I would actually call that a roundabout. I would actually call it like a big one. I'd call a roundabout. A small one, I'd call an island. That's genuinely what I would say. But,
I think the other.
So would you say that a big one is an island and a small one's a roundabout?
Signs on it, then you say that's more of an island. If it's just like a big roundabout with a motorway in it, yeah, that's a roundabout. But no, if it's got
Whoa.
You went really fast on that. That was so funny.
That energy has gone into a Wi-Fi there. It was like, hold on 1 second.
We need the energy
I still understood
again,
what she was saying as well. It was but I still managed to catch on what you were saying. So if it's got signs and that on it, you were saying that would be called an island. And if it's small, it'd be a roundabout. I think that's what Nat said. Ginnell though, Mya, have you ever heard of a ginnel for an alley?
Yeah. I lived in Manchester for 3 years, so I have heard of it. But I don't use it. I do say alleyway like personally myself, but I have heard of ginnel. Yeah.
There were some other ones. Like someone called it an entry. I was like, oh gosh.
Yeah, an entry. Yeah.
Oh gosh. No.
An alleyway or an entry, like down the side of your house. Entry.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm definitely too yum for this. And then the other one, Meg, and Nat, actually, I'll get you in on this one as well. The other one we were talking about was gutter ball or Kirby.
Kirby.
Gutter ball.
What's gutter ball?
Gutter ball.
Kirby.
Of course it's Kirby.
It's not Kirby. Kirby was a different
always
game.
been Kirby. Right, listen, lockdown's over next week, mate.
We have a game of gutter ball / Kirby.
We'll have a game of Kirby, but I tell you what, Sophie, we won't play golf. We won't play golf, yeah?
No, I've got no cardigans. Can't play golf.
Yeah, bring your cardigan.
Guys, everyone in the chat, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure. The ladies have been fantastic as well. Please hit the like if you've enjoyed it. I'm going to start with our guest Mya. Mya, if you could just shout out your socials and let people know where they can find you. And thank you again for coming on.
Thank you for having me. And good luck this weekend. So yeah, it's at Mya Graham. I'm basically just on Twitter. Don't really use much else. So yeah, at Mya Graham on Twitter. I mostly just tweet about Tottenham, to be honest. So yeah, if you fancy that, then give me a follow.
Yeah, make sure you go and give her a follow, definitely. And good luck to yourself, of course, at the weekend as well. Hopefully it'll be a good game. Nat, thank you so much for taking the time to come and join us. Really appreciate it. As always, shout out where people can find you as well.
Natalie_17. And I'm Nutty Natty B on Instagram. So if anyone wants to see pictures or what I'm doing, get on that.
Hello, Chica.
Go and check out Nat's socials as well. Loving the confidence from Nat. Always got that energy. She makes me feel confident about United. I love it. It's like contagious. Nick, again, as always, an absolute pleasure to have you on. Thank you for joining us. Shout out your socials where people can find you.
Thanks for having me, Sophie. It's really good to have you, Mya. Like, loved every word you said. I've changed now. I've come out with my own name, so I'm at Miss Nicole Deans now on Twitter. But I'm still United She Stands on Instagram. And my blog still United She Stands. Talking of which, the new one went out today. It's my pinned tweet. If you want a cheeky little look, I don't know. That's what you're into.
If you're not looking, then I don't know what you do in real life. Just go and check out Nicole's articles. And amazing.
Listen to ourselves.
Always. And then Meg, again, we seem to be doing content all the time lately, don't we? With all the United games coming along. But you always take the time. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. If you just shout out your socials as well.
No problem at all. A huge thank you to Mya and anyone in the chat as well. Go and follow her. Make sure you give her some support. So a huge thank you to Mya and the girls. And I'm at Megan Cam with an _. I'm pretty sure because Soph just took it off the screen. And I'm pretty sure that's me. Yeah, it is.
I've never seen, by the way, I've never seen anyone say batch. Sorry to interrupt, but I feel like Coventry is the only place, or like Warwickshire Coventry is the only place where people say batch. So this person has to be or understand Warwickshire Coventry language because we are the only place that says that. Honestly,
it's a cop.
Nah,
there we go.
The only Nanks in the village, help me out. Thank you.
Mom. Bomb.
I have heard cob though. They say
Chips and
cob in
gravy.
Nottingham. I went
Yes,
Nottingham
cob.
Uni and they say cob in Nottingham. But I had to tell them straight, give me a sausage bomb.
Tell him. Say, listen now, kid. Give a bomb.
Yeah. That's why I had to
Guys,
go.
make sure you go and follow Meg as well. Meg's obviously got a new Instagram as well, dedicated to all football content. So make sure you go and follow that as well. Acid, I'm editing on this note. I'm right. It's cob. I'm joking. I'm a yam. So a lot of the stuff that I say is just completely wrong as well. So I think we just had to. So we just get used to different languages on this channel as well, whilst we're learning about football. You know, it's what we're saying. It's educational as well as fun. That's what it is on Ladies in Red. But yeah, thank you so much to everyone who tuned in.
Educational.
Well, we kind of translating and teaching other languages to.
Yeah, I'll teach you Mancunian any day.
I've learned something new anyway. I've learned what a ginnel is, and I never heard that before. So, yeah, and you guys have learned what gutter ball is because that's the proper term. So, yeah.
Lol. No.
Now, thank you to everyone in the chat. Really appreciate it. As always, good fun. We'll let you know if we're doing a watch along on Sunday. But until then, guys, stay positive, keep smiling, and we'll all see you soon. Loading.